There it is. Okay. So you can go through there and look at the rankings and notice that I stopped when the USA appeared. That still means there's some after it. That doesn't mean we're last. Okay, when you look at those charts. So if we're measuring health, and we're looking at health indices to see how healthy we are, what do we need to do first? Before you can evaluate how healthy somebody is, or how healthy you are, or how healthy your family is, what do you need to do, or what do you need to know? What's health? So what does the American population say health is? If you went back home to the people you went to high school with, and you grabbed 100 of them, and you said, what is health? What would they tell you? Not being sick. Or? Staying off medicine?
No pain.
Not feeling bad? Maybe not just no pain, but no symptoms, which we would generally tend to think of as being sick. I'm not healthy today because I have a headache. I'm not healthy today because I got a runny nose or a cough. Would you find that in your town? Is that your definition of health? Is it a good definition of health? Here we go back, since we're using United Nations, World Health Organization statistics, let's see what they say health is. Why does that thing keep looking up at the ceiling? I don't know if, when you look at these videos, if you're going to be able to read that, if it's close enough, unless you can pull it up. A state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. World Health Organization, who has taken on the mission of trying to make children all over the globe healthier. They may be doing that in a way that you agree with or in ways that you disagree with. Complete physical, mental, and social well-being. What does the next part mean? Not merely the absence of disease and infirmity. What does that mean?
Just because we're not in pain or not having to take medication to the doctor doesn't mean we're healthy.
Okay. You feel good today? That doesn't mean you're healthy. Just because you don't have a disease label today doesn't mean you're healthy. Can you relate to that? Do you know anybody in your family or your circle of friends that you heard in their families somebody was just doing really great and then all of a sudden they died? Golly, I didn't even know they were sick. Or they go for their routine medical checkup and then they come home and the doctor says, I have cancer. I've got a friend of mine who's probably 8 years younger than me, or was, in the gym, fit, thin, trim, dead of a heart attack. You hear of elite level athletes in the NBA, the NFL, the Major League Baseball, tennis, track, dropping dead of heart attacks. They're competing at the top of their game. You would have thought they were healthy. Not merely the absence of disease and infirmity. Complete picture. The body, Physical, mental, social. The complete picture is what they're selling. Isn't it interesting, though, that somehow we don't go by that? Medicine doesn't seem to go by that, do they? The status of well-being which is never accomplished by one thing alone, but many positive factors occurring at the same time which enhance your potential. Never one factor. Give me some examples where people could get caught up in one factor that makes them healthy.
Weight.
And their whole life revolves around that. Constantly watching their weight. If I keep the weight off, that's all I have to do. Now, that's an important factor, isn't it? But it's not one thing. It's bigger than one thing. What's another one?
Never being sick.
Okay, I'm never sick. I'm never sick. I must be good. I hope that you never feel sick. But that alone won't mean you're healthy. Give me another one. One factor. Blood pressure. If I keep it in the textbook average, I'm good. Another one. Fit. If I go to the CrossFit box, I'm going to be okay. That's all I have to do. Just that one thing. Another biggie. Eat healthy. Nutrition. Nutrition. And what do we know about health diets, health fads? This workout is big. CrossFit seems to be the big one nowadays that I hear in my practice. Over the years, there have been different fitness plans and different nutrition plans for losing weight. Or Sherman students are doing this kind of a cleanse or that kind of a cleanse. You know, it's just another diet. Commit to it all the time. Don't go from one fad to another. Right? And it's multiple things that have to occur in synchrony. Living a physical life in harmony with a few simple laws, simple food, simple exercise, simple precautions. Where would you put chiropractic in that person's definition?
Simple precaution.
Simple precaution. Take care of my spine. Same way I'm going to change the oil in my car. Same way I'm going to rotate the tires. But we also have simple laws. What's the job of your nervous system physiologically? Yeah, why? To coordinate, to prevent, to get everything working together. It's a network of nerves, just like a network of roads that allow you to travel from one place to another. It has a job to do. That's a physiological law. Let's follow that. Simple precautions. How do you know when you're eating simple food? No ingredients. The ingredients are actually the name of the food. Carrot. What's in it? Carrot. Apple, right? That's the name. That's all the ingredients. Apple. Eat as close to nature as you can. But don't forget, you need chocolate. What did I read? Chocolate comes from a cocoa bean. Cocoa beans grow on trees. Chocolate is a vegetable. That's what I go by. Simple exercise. Doc, what can I do to help these adjustments hold? Move. Don't be sedentary. You've got 24 vertebrae in your spine. The sacrum, number 25, is underneath. Maybe you have 24 vertebrae because you're supposed to move them. You don't have one solid pipe that the spinal cord runs through. You got 24 vertebrae that stack up that the spinal cord runs through. Maybe we're supposed to move that spine during the day, during the week. I hit people on the shoulder a lot when they're walking out of the adjusting room and they're getting ready to leave, and I just tell them, motion is lotion. Keep moving your spine. It's good for you. Don't sit still all day. You might have to sit still part of the day. Webster, right? He's got a book full of words. The condition of an organism or one of its parts in which it performs its vital functions normally or properly. The state of being sound in mind or body, freedom from physical disease and pain. Look at that. 3 definitions in there. Which one do the American people go by? The last one. The last part. Freedom from disease and pain. Physical disease and pain. That's how I know I'm healthy. I'm healthy today because I came to school or I made it to work. Billy Bob didn't make it in today, so he must be sick. What if Billy Bob senses something's wrong with his body and he stays home to let it heal? He may be the smart one. You may have went to work when you know you should have stayed home to let yourself heal. The state of an organism that's performing its vital functions normally and properly. So, if you you're a little kid and you put your hand up on a hot stove, is that comfortable? Does that hurt? Does that hand come flying off there automatically? Yeah. That pain got that hand off of there, didn't it? Is that a proper function? What happens if there was no pain? You burn your hand up. You destroy the matter of your body. So maybe pain is a proper function. So then why are we so afraid of it? Why do we not like it? Hey, it doesn't feel good, granted. But do you think maybe it serves a purpose? Because people are coming into your office, for the most part, looking for help with an ache or a pain. You are going to be a doctor of chiropractic. What are you going to teach them about that pain? Can you focus what you're going to do regardless of what they're complaining about? You have to listen to them because you have to be a caring caregiver. But that doesn't mean you got to lose focus on what it is you want to do for them. Health is when your body is supposed to do something and it does. I figured if I'm a healthcare provider and people are coming to me, I got to have a definition for health. Guess what question I'm going to put on the midterm? Not my definition. I'm going to ask you what your definition is. Come up with your definition of health. It's the basis of your practice. What are you going to tell people health is? You're a healthcare provider. You better have a definition. Sickness is when your body is supposed to do something and it can't do it. So, I'm going to check your spine for vertebral subluxation because that interferes with the message between the brain and the body. And if you have interference, you might not be able to do what you're supposed to do. So let's get your body working better so that your body can do what it's supposed to do. If you have a toxin in your gut, what should you do? Get out. How do you get the toxins out? What do we call that? If your body is toxic, what does it do? Ah. Throw up. You vomit. You detox. What's another way to detox? Sweat. What's another way? Diarrhea. One end or the other. Or all the skin in between. That's how you detox. And what do we call that in our culture? Ooh, they're sick. No, they're not. They're healthy. You should be singing praise that you got diarrhea. I'm getting the bad stuff out. What is the first aid procedure if a child ingests poison?
Throw up.
Induced vomiting. Unless it's going to aspirate into the lungs, then you don't do that. So you have to know what it is they swallow. But for most poisons, induced vomiting. But yet when the body does it naturally, we've been trained to call that sick. That's actually very good. I'm glad I have a pain signal when I do a certain thing. What's my body trying to tell me? Don't do it. Take a painkiller so then it feels good, so then I can keep doing it, so then I can keep damaging it. So this is a huge concept that I try to teach people in practice. Listen to your body. Your body knows what to do. It's already doing the job. What should your body do with cancer cells? What is your body doing with cancer cells in your body right now? Destroying them, called macrophages. Gobbling them up. Depositing them in the colon. Pushing them out the other end. Done. What happens if your body's not destroying cancer cells when it should be? What do you call that? Sickness. That's sickness. If you should be destroying cancer cells and you're not, well, now you're sick. What if you have an artery that's supposed to be a certain diameter and it gets narrow for whatever reason? What do you think is going to happen to your blood pressure? It's going to go up. How come? Got to get the blood through there. It's needed throughout the body. Is that sick or healthy? It's healthy. It's doing what it has to do. Get the blood through. Blood pressure in that situation could be dangerous, but it's healthy. Now, let's go look for the cause of why the blood pressure is up there. Let's not just necessarily treat the blood pressure. Worldview. How you look at the world. Vocation. What is a vocation? A job. What you do to earn money to provide for yourself and or your family. How is that different than a calling?
You don't always get paid for your callings.
You might not get paid for your calling. Typically, I think you do, but there may be a case where you're not, and that's good. How is a vocation different than a calling? You guys not have that slide? No, it wasn't the next one in line?
We didn't have the last one.
Oh, the definitions of health? Okay. They may be in a different section of your notes, but it's good if you scribble them down. Vocation. I just go do my job, get paid, right? Pay my bills, go on vacation, die. Is there more to life than paying your bills and dying? Is a calling maybe communicate something with a little bit more purpose? That you somehow means a little bit more to you than just a job? I could go to a factory and work, contribute to making a particular product, and I just go 8 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon, and I go home and I'm with my family, I collect my paycheck, right? Do my hobbies, pay my bills, do the next thing the next day? Or do I look at what I'm doing in that factory as a way to serve all the people that are using that product? My dad worked in an automobile factory as a mechanic. Was that well, he didn't work 9 to 5. He worked all kinds of weird, long, 12-hour shifts. Was that just a job? Or could he look at that and say, because of what I do, people are able to get back and forth to work. People are able to take their families on vacations. You could look at that differently. Do you just push on people's spines so they could feel better? Or are you facilitating better communication within their body, which changes their whole life? Fitness. Is that a lifelong thing? Or is that only important just before beach season? Social. Right now we got social media. Back when I was your age, we kind of hung out with friends and did stuff together. We didn't text each other or contact them on private message or anything. Right? We just went and did stuff. Nutrition. When is good nutrition important?
Always.
Always? Really? Then how come during college you just got by on beer and pizza?
We have money for it.
Nutrition is good up until we go off to college, up until we move out of mama's house. Then it's not so important anymore. Until you get to be middle-aged, and then it is again. Do you like to save money or spend money?
Can't spend $1,000 when you're there.
Should you keep growing spiritually? Do you think there's even a spiritual aspect of your nature? What's your role in the family? What is family? How do you participate in family? When do you stop learning? What do you do to keep your mind fresh? Or is that not important? Because I got a remote, I'll just watch the TV. You know those 13.1 stickers that people put on the back of their car? What's that all about? 26.2 is full marathon. What's 13.1? That means they ran a half marathon. I got people in my practice that think the 13.1 is their Netflix binge. 13.1 hours on the TV watching the Netflix. Right? I got a 0.0 sticker. That's how much I like to run. Okay? Different things. You have a way to think about all of those things right now. You may not even know it. It may be an unconscious thing that you're doing. Right? Your money matters may be something that you adopted from a parent unconsciously. You haven't really thought it through yet on your own. nutrition. You may be just eating the foods you grew up with in your family until you start taking biochem. And then you might find yourself making different choices. Right? These change with fads. You may be adopting your family's spiritual package without thinking it through for yourself. All of these things need to be thought about. You need to have a conscious worldview, which means you thought about it and you own it. Okay? Healthcare fits in there someplace. What do I think health is? What am I going to do to nurture that? And that's why I'm picking worldview here, because we're going to zero in. We're going to dig down and look at the healthcare worldview that you have. And make some challenges to it. For many women, the monthly curse is becoming optional. What is the monthly curse? Menstrual cycle. Isn't it nice to know that that's now an option? This article talks about how through better chemistry, we can control your body. Men are doing the same thing. Right? Athletes are doing the same thing. It's called performance-enhancing drugs. Not just women. Everybody's doing something in the world. Not everybody, but every group of people. Why would somebody do this? Why would somebody take the performance-enhancing drugs? Because there's something out there that if I put it inside will make me better. What's the alternative way to think? Maybe the stuff that's happening inside of me is already the best way. If I go with what nature has designed as being the best. Why would I want to change what nature's doing? If my body is creating diarrhea, why would I want to take kaopectate and make that stop? If my body's creating pain so I don't do a certain movement and make the injury worse, why would I want to take a painkiller? Do we stop and ask ourselves these questions? If I have a pounding headache, why am I taking the Tylenol? Is it because I'm low on Tylenol? Do we stop and ask ourselves these questions, or have we adopted an unconscious worldview? Do I now want to start to think about it for myself? My wife and I started to think about it for ourselves before we even learned about chiropractic. We gave our oldest daughter the first round of immunizations when she was born, and we watched her body have a pretty weird reaction to it. She started to develop fever, right, and other signs of being sick. And we said, whoa, what's going on here? And so you would give the baby the first round of immunizations in 3 stages. So we only did the first one. We saw the reaction. We never went back for 2 and 3. And we started to question it for ourselves. This is way before chiropractic. Yeah. And chiropractic has nothing to do with immunizations. But we're going to talk about how your thinking about things affects your decisions. Okay, and we're going to let them set up, and so we'll see you tomorrow. Actually,